4 email sequences, $4.2 million in revenue. And the client had never sold her continuing education real estate courses in this way through her email list in Sendinblue. Here's how we did it and why most people and entrepreneurs, no matter what industry they're in, get this completely wrong. Today, I'm talking about the results that we got at TiffyGWrites, www.TiffyGWrites.ai, for a Chicago real estate firm. Now, they're not just any real estate firm. They're actually a school that allows realtors in Chicago and nearby areas to go ahead and get their continuing education license. If you're a realtor, then you already know what this is about. Getting those CE credits that you need to maintain your licensure or to extend your licensure and to up-level your skill set. So this is what Inland Real Estate School does in Chicago, but here's the issue. They had this email list of about 42,000 people, around 42 to 45,000. Sometimes we would suppress some of the emails on that list. And they had built the list, actually, this is really rare, through events because, again, they're a school, so they did not necessarily run a whole bunch of ads, but they had so many realtors coming into the school because the school had been open for so long. So people would just write their name down on the email list. They have students, obviously, as soon as they sign up for one program, they're building that email list. So most of the people had already purchased from them before. So this was a large, very warm list, but we segmented it in 4 different ways, and I'm about to break it down because it was all based on the products that they offered. So let's go over course number 1. It was the real estate license renewal that took about 15 hours in totality. It was $149 and required every 2-year cycle for active licensed real estate agents in Chicago. It covered updated laws, ethics, fair housing, agency relationships, and contract updates. So the sequence that was designed to specifically sell this course targeted your baseline realtors that just needed to renew their license. They're already realtors. They have to renew their license somewhere. And so the engagement rates were super high for this segment of the sequence. Now let's go to number 2. Broker license course. Now this is for the big players, the real estate agents that could be 3 years as a real estate agent, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it was. They were ready to advance into managed broker status. They wanted to open their own brokerage. They want to become more of an entrepreneur instead of working at some of those real estate firms that exist out in Chicago or out in other places in the States. They were opening their firms and they were going to have realtors under them as an entrepreneur. But to do this, you need 90 hours of coursework, and the course was $499. Again, this is best for those brokerages that contract and advance law, office operations, supervision, and financial responsibility. So this person's emails, when they received them from this segment, and this was about 25% of the list total, when they received emails, we were sensitive to not talk to them as they were a regular real estate agent, because they weren't. Although they had been real estate agents in the past and are currently real estate agents, what appealed to them was future-proof storytelling about, hey, this is what your life is going to look like after you get your $499 course. It's going to be 90 hours, but this is what we're going to cover. You're going to be able to operate your own office. You can specialize in law in your office. You can specialize in office operations. You can start to understand some of the fiduciary responsibilities of a broker versus a real estate and dissecting the difference between those two. This is the beginning of segmentation and how to personalize an email list specifically for the real estate agency, but you can apply this to any industry that's out there. Now, commercial real estate financing, this actually reminded me so much of a brokerage that I worked with out in San Diego. And this client and I talked about that before we signed our contract. And that was one of the intersecting areas that was like, oh, you actually have value that you've already provided in this industry. Now, this one is only 12 hours. It was $299. And it was a specialized course for agents working in commercial transactions. So I want you to think capital markets, loan structures, investment analysis, and commercial property evaluation. Yes, even Brokers who specialize in commercial real estate financing need marketing, especially retention marketing. Now, this one, again, similar to the broker license course, the two messages between these two can be very similar because we're still targeting people who are entrepreneurs or who want to be entrepreneurs and have an entrepreneurial mindset. But to take it a step further, we were breaking down commercial real estate finance, case studies, what that could look like for them, data from Chicago on commercial real estate in Chicago so they could see the type of projects that they would be working on after they get that license. Now, the next one is a real estate finance fundamentals course, and it almost sounds a little boring compared to the two more CEO entrepreneur ones we were just going over. It was $99, and it really is at that entry level, similar to just the basic real estate license renewal in Chicago, but this was an elective course that they could just add on. And so this really worked nice for the second, or I should say the first segment of the email list. Remember, real estate license renewal, where they were just renewing their continuing education credits. This was a nice add-on, which could be an upsell. After they renew their license, they can pay another $99 to go over residential financing, mortgage products, underwriting, and lending regulations. Now, this one was not technically required, but typically in marketing, if somebody buys something, just like let's say they buy something in the next 15 minutes, they're more likely to buy again in the next day if your email marketing automation is set up to give them an upsell. Now, for this client, this is so amazing because the total spend per agent, if they were to get 4 courses, is $1,046. If they pursued every single course that was available for those 4 sequences, and they had other courses, but we just wanted to start with these 4 product-focused sequences. And so most agents would start with renewal, but eventually throughout the lifetime that they are at that school, they will go through all 4 of those. At least 45% of people would eventually want to look into commercial real estate financing, would eventually want to look into becoming a brokerage, and then the rest of the people were just real estate agents. But since these were automations and sequences with 20 emails that are automated, people are still receiving those emails today, and the revenue and money, 4.2 million plus, is still coming in from those email campaigns that we strategized, we set up, we wrote, and we executed. This is the power and almost the magic of email marketing automations. Now, before we finish this video, I want to tell you a little bit about segmentation tags and behavioral triggers, okay? With behavior trigger number 1, we set up a course completion rate, meaning somebody completed a course in under 30 days. We were able to tag them and send in blue as a fast mover and move them to an immediate upsell to the broker course with urgency, okay? This means they're serious about their career, they're ambitious, they want to keep the momentum going. So this was a prime area of the list to just sell and upsell that makes it easy for you as an entrepreneur. Again, this doesn't have to be a real estate entrepreneur. You can apply this to DNA firms. You can apply this to finance car and home loans for banks that I've worked with out in California and credit unions. You can apply this to business coaching if you have a couple of different services and you have behavioral statistics that you can apply for your email list. Next, they would complete the renewal course in 30-60 days. That's a tag. If they did it in that time frame, they were a steady professional in the email list. So we would take them to the nurture sequence quicker and highlight career growth stories because, of course, this person is going to want to hear about like-minded stories from people who are just as ambitious as them and have already taken that path. And then if they took more than 60 days to complete, they were probably going to be a little bit colder down the line. Maybe they're overwhelmed, maybe they had something happen in their family. So we don't need to send them as many emails, especially as many as a 20 email sales sequence. They would more so want to read just bite-sized short email copy, straight to the point, maybe more like newsletter style of, hey, this is what's happening in Chicago real estate right now. This is what we're doing for our clients right now. This is what's going on. They're not ready for that next level of elevation because here's the issue. if you try to make someone ready for the next level of elevation before they're ready. Your email list deliverability is going to dwindle down so low. If you did not see my previous 2 videos about the bewares of email deliverability, you want to see it because you can become blacklisted. For this client, this is something we discussed on the call before even working together. She's like, I've already worked with a virtual assistant who is loading my emails, but I now understand I need someone that's truly a specialist in email marketing deliverability. This is why you have to segment a list, especially if you have something like 42,000, 45,000 subscribers. Even if you have 2,000 subscribers or 800 subscribers, you can keep the health of your list and your open rates really, really high. Guarantee yourself engagement and sales if you personalize the stories that you are telling your list. Now, if you like this conversation, if this sounds like something that you would like to talk about even further, check out the link in the description, because for 2 weeks in March, I am doing free email marketing audit calls. So we will sit together for 30 minutes on a Zoom call and see if your emails are hitting the blacklist and see what we can do to move your brand forward in 2026 and beyond. Feel free to visit www.TiffyGWrites.ai. Check out the links in the description to join my email list as well, because I send emails 4 to 5 times per week on what's happening with my clients, what's working in email marketing, and what's working with entrepreneurship and marketing in general. I'll see you in the next one.